Hello there, beautiful people, welcome back. Today I have another speed paint for you, and it is of this drawing I've had lying around for a little while, and I think that you can see the reflection of the light in the drawing. It's very shiny and I love it very much. I have had the clips lying around for a little while, but I've first gotten around to editing them now, so I hope that you can live with the delay, and I hope that you will enjoy the video. So on to the drawing. I start off as I usually do by tracing a sketch onto my final piece of paper using my light box. In this case I'm using a red ink to outline the character, and I do this because a black ink would be much more harsh in the final version, and this red just blends more into both the fabric and the skin tone of the character, and you'll see this later on as I'm doing it. The background is painted in with two different kinds of inks, one being the green ink for the tree and the grass in the background, and a blue for the water in the bottom of the piece. Then I go in with my drawing gun and I paint in the entire character, leaving out the dress in this part. I do this because I want the character to be completely blank when I erase the drawing gun later on. Then I start painting in the background, and I do this in very soft colors and very light colors in the beginning, and you will see why later. I know the light will be yellow, so that's why I'm using warm tones in the beginning here as the base layer, and then painting in the cooler colors in the water and the grass here. Then I go in with another layer of drawing gum, this time over the fabric of the dress, and I do this because I want the fabric of the dress to be transparent, so still giving a sense of see-through, so you can see slightly colors or slight colors of the background, but not completely opaque. So here I'm working further on the background and deepening up the shadows and the colors in general, especially in both the water and the tree, or the trunk of the tree. And I'm doing this with, again, different kinds of colors, especially blue, because I want the shadows to be in deep contrast with the light, where the light is yellow and the shadows being blue purplish. Of course, letting each watercolor layer dry each time before I go in with another one to prevent taking off some of the previous layers. At this point I have skipped on to my Derwent Intense watercolors, because these give a much more deep and vibrant color compared to my normal or regular pan watercolors, and this is where I deepen up and give more details to each area of the piece. This is also the part where the piece is coming more together, and it's easier to separate the different elements of the piece, and this is one of the parts I enjoy most, giving all these little details and really seeing the piece popping. And you can definitely see that with the background and the trunk compared to the light. And I am now erasing the drawing gum, and you can see that the character is now white, but the dress is slightly transparent, and this is exactly what I was going for. And then I start painting in or coloring in her skin, and I want her to be very dark skin compared to her dress being more light, to make a bigger contrast or value change. And I'm once again just repeating the steps that I was doing for the background, going in with base layers and then continuing on with more detailed and deeper color layers to deepen up and give detail to the piece. And at this point I thought I had her skin dark enough, but I could definitely see that she was just blending in way too much with the dress and the background, so you'll see me go in with an even darker skin tone in just a bit. I'm also using some of my pastels to kind of give more of the color in the dress and giving a little bit of a reflective light effect. And I do this both to the skin and the dress, but keeping away from the bigger areas. And you also see the purplish yellow, sorry, the orange yellow to reflect the light. And here I'm going in with my white ink to make a rim lighting around the character and the background, to make it pop and stand out a little more. And also the rim lighting also conveys the effect of light. And now you see me darkening up the character skin tone way more than it was before. And this really pays off in the end, because now she's way more contrasted compared to the background and the dress. And now I'm just going in here and there, darkening up some areas, giving more detail to some areas, before going in with some final steps, because once I go in with the final steps I can't really take back what I've done, so this is where I need to refine the last things before moving on. And now I go in with my metallic watercolor paints to make a little bit of a shine in the background, to once again convey this lighting effect that I was really going for. It's not really that visible in this lighting, but you might have seen it in the beginning when I was holding up the drawing, or also here in the final version later on. Then I go in with some glue for the gold leaf I'm gonna use for her bandages and shoulder decorations. And I try to be really careful with this, because I might get some of it onto my other areas, but it seems to be working pretty decently. And I also go in with a few layers of this just to make sure all the areas are covered. It's a bit of a tedious process, and I have to be careful not to breathe on the gold leaf, and it's quite difficult, but it's really beautiful in the end, and it gives a really reflective shine, and I really love it. And now I go into Photoshop, just giving up the contrast and also darkening the darker areas and lighting up the highlights, just to once again convey this backlit feeling. And it really paid off in the end, and I'm loving the result. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one, everyone. Bye!